Giggles podcast. I just get excited every time we do another episode. I'm like, oh yeah, we're back. Yeah. I don't know what to do. The hands just go up and I just want to celebrate. We're back. Another episode. Welcome. In today's episode, we are going to cover a listener question. So our first question, I'm not going to name them just in case they want to remain nameless, but our listener question was, I've actually lost it. Hang on. I found it. I didn't want to mess it up. I wanted to make sure that I got it word for word. So the listener question was how to dig yourself out of a slump/negative mindset. So we're a fitness CrossFit based podcast. So we're going to take it in the context that this is training specific or like CrossFit specific. And this, I feel like it's going to tangent into normal kind of life aspects as well, but we'll try and keep it training specific. Which I feel like this question couldn't have come at a better time because it wasn't that long ago that a certain someone messaged a certain someone else about pretty much the exact same question. So, Jono, we're going to hand it over to you because you pretty much almost word for word asked me or said the same thing to me not that long ago. So, Jono, how would you dig yourself out of a slump or a negative mindset?
Well, just some background, and just so we know, I am not the listener that asked this question. However, like you said, this question is actually perfect. How do I word it? Well, still trying to not be vulnerable because I don't like doing that. I messaged Kapow, just the background. I messaged Kapow, and we'll probably talk about Frantic and everything, but it was the week after, a couple of days after Frantic anyway. And I was like, I was trying to train on Monday and I was so sore. I'd flown in the night before straight into 4 a.m. wake up for the coaching. So it probably wasn't the ideal training situation anyway. I probably should have just chosen to sleep and then train afterwards. But I was like, no, I must train because that's all I know in life. And I was like, man, I'm not enjoying this training. And I was like, I haven't enjoyed really had fun with training in a little while now. And it's the off season, come down from touring, but it's been like 8 weeks. So need to move on.
Is that a lot to do with the pressure that you're putting on yourself is why you're not enjoying your training? Like you're putting too much expectation on the outcomes of training, or like what kind of put you in that headspace of not enjoying training?
I think, and this is where I hope we'll kind of end up. Well, no, this is a very tangible, logical way to kind of attack it. And so I hope we don't end up this way, but in a few other aspects that will segue into like goals and self-belief and everything. But with me, it was more, I love CrossFit. Like I love CrossFit. The only other sport that I enjoy doing, and so does Kapow, even though I don't believe he likes CrossFit anymore. But the only other sport I enjoy doing competitively is cycling, and the only other sport I enjoy doing as a way to switch off and kind of just really just be in my own like space is swimming. So CrossFit is what I want to do. And in the off season, all I was doing was like strength, weightlifting, and cardio, like running, biking, rowing, skiing, some swimming, and I was doing like 1 or 2 metcons a week, like metabolic conditioning workouts, or otherwise known as workout of the day in the CrossFit world. And so I think I just wasn't enjoying it as much. And I also knew that, and this is going to be arrogant for me to say, I'm good on an erg. Like I'll row, I'll bike, I'm super stoked with my 5K times, my 2K times, my 1K times, my 500 meters, like all that kind of stuff, but I'm not that great at CrossFit. And so I think I was just in a rut of being like, man, I'm not focusing on what I need to focus on. And so this is just like what I've realized. But that was the rut, is that after touring, I was doing like hours of running, couple of hours of rowing, like an hour of skiing throughout the week, 30 to 40 minutes of swimming, and just like basic stuff, which is really, really important, but it's also not enjoyable.
Yeah. See, I think the biggest thing, if you find yourself in a slump or if you like in a bit of a weird headspace, because disclaimer, everyone goes through it. There is not a single person out there that is sunshine and rainbows day in, day out, week in, week out. Like everybody goes through these things. So one, you're not alone, but two, it's a lot of people don't have the capacity or the awareness to realize that. And that, I think it was Ned Kelly's bloody, whatever it was, that this too shall pass. Is that him? Or no, his was such is life. His was such is life. Yeah, sorry, I'm butchering that. But I can't remember who said it, but it was along the context of everything shall pass. This moment, the feelings that you're having now, like they will pass. So this rut that you're in will pass. But I also heard another really cool little spiel the other day. I think I even sent it to you. That life is one of two spirals. It's either a downward spiral where you're negative and then you realize, or not, sorry, you don't realize, but it's a negative spiral and it's a negative feedback loop. You feel bad, so you perform bad, and then because you perform bad, you feel bad, and it's just this negative spiral that you don't end up, unless you have the awareness, you just keep spiraling down. But it also goes the other way. So if you have a positive feedback loop, the upward spiral, then if you feel good, then you start to train good. If you train good, then you eat a little bit better, which makes you feel a bit better, which makes you train a little bit better, which means, and then it's an upward spiral. But it's one of two directions. And unless you have the awareness to make the difference and make the change, which isn't the snap of a fingers, it's not an instant thing, it's something that has to be worked on, and you have to actually mindfully go, no, I'm going to work on this. I'm going to try and improve. Back to one of your steps. One of your steps was to try and improve 1% every day. And that's just starting that upward spiral journey. But having the awareness is one of the big key things, I think, because you can't really do anything unless you're aware of it.
Yeah. And this is probably where I was hoping to take this conversation, is that you probably, and it's another quote that I will probably butcher, but
we're doing a good job of that. Just
you know what?
These good quotes.
Hang on, I'm
all
pretty
these
sure
mad life lessons that we've learned along the way, and we're just butchering them.
You know what, though? It's the thought that counts.
Yeah, no. We know what the message is. The delivery.
It's actually Alice in Wonderland. Boom. So Alice in Wonderland. Alice goes to the Cheshire Cat, and Alice goes, "Which way should I go?" And the Cheshire Cat I asked, "Well, where do you want to go?" And Alice said, I don't know. And then the Cheshire Cat said, "Well, then it doesn't matter which way you go." And so she had to make a choice of which way to go for it. There's another one with pretty much directions and all that. But what helped me was I realized that after touring, I didn't really have any goals. Like I was like, oh, I didn't know if I was going to go try for Down Under. I didn't know if I was going to, what's going to happen for next year. I didn't even know if I was going to do any off-season comps and all that stuff. And so what helped me, the very first thing, was I just sat down and I reset my goals. And it just helped me, because then you're aware of where you need to go. And then your choices can be, is this going to help me in an upward spiral, or is this going to put me in a downward spiral? Yeah. Like, is this food going to help, or is that decision going to help? And you can kind of guide it from there.
I think the other thing to that, because you've kind of gone from one step to the other, because you figured out where you want to go. But for a lot of people, that is the looming question. That's the one that's hard to answer. That's the one that I don't know, right? So in that kind of gray area time frame, because it might be, depending on why you're in your slump, like it could be a big emotional hurdle for you. The thing that's going to get you through that, to get you to the point where then you can figure out where you want to go and what you want to do, would be the discipline and the consistency of, well, I know that because we're putting in this context of training and CrossFit in the gym, I know that going to the gym is good for my mental health. I'm going to feel better even if I just go to the gym for the hour today and I do my squats and I do my workout for the day. Like, even if I don't PR, even if I don't hit the weights that I want to hit, I know that the movement in and of itself is going to produce positive effects for me. And that, over the space of the 3 months, is going to help get you out of your rut if you don't know the direction where you're going. As like, if that's your coast and that's your default setting to maintain the discipline and to be consistent with that training aspect, that one thing, if you can keep true to that, I think that's what helps in the long run. Because then when you come out of it, you're not like, oh, well, I didn't train for the last 3 months and now I can't squat the 100 kilos like I used to, because that's going to keep that negative feedback loop going. Whereas if you go, you know what, I'm a fucking badass, because for the last 3 months when shit wasn't going my way, like, I stuck to the gym. And I still improved on certain things that I didn't think that I was going to, but by the sheer fact of just staying disciplined and keeping consistent, I came out on the other side in a better place than where I was before, or where I would have if I didn't.
I completely agree with that. I think at one point you started going to we're going to use the gym as an example. At one point you started going to the gym because you had goals related to health and fitness, whether it's aesthetic, whether it's like longevity, whether it's competitive. You had that goal, whether it was written down, whether it was visual, or it doesn't matter. You had a goal you wanted to improve. Yeah. And so if you have no goals, my thing is that, like, you might have ticked off goals or given up on previous goals, but at one point you had an emotional tie that made you physically do something different in your life. Yeah. So why don't you go back to what you, not the emotional tie of the goals, but go back to like, okay, well, I was doing this, so why don't I keep doing this because it helped me until I figure out what I need to do. And then, like you said, the two things you said, you're not going to have gone backwards because you've improved in something. And whether it's like, you know what, I want to be a fatty now. That's fine. Okay, well, you have more room to become a fatty. We're going to talk about that one later. And then the second thing is that, like, and it's such a true thing, and I had to give myself or remind myself of this because I have a 3-day rule with anything that I want to do or not want to do. We'll talk about the 3-day rule soon. It helps within being impulsive.
I'm bad at that.
Is that I'm will pass.
Impulsive.
Yeah. So
just do it now.
Yeah. So the 3-day rule. So like whenever I want to like buy something, I'm like, I want to buy something, or I want to do something. I don't want to do this anymore. Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, in 3 days, if I still feel the same, it's actually something I feel strongly about. Yeah. And then usually after 3 days, I've forgotten about it.
Yeah.
That's also, sorry. It's funny. That used to be my rule when with girls. So I'd get their number and I wouldn't contact them for 3 days.
The old 3-day rule. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because everyone was like, "Oh, it's 2 days," and I was like, 3 days is way more toxic. Yeah.
See, I should probably adopt that.
It didn't work with Hannah.
Oh yeah. She called you first, eh?
I wish. She just didn't put up with any of my crap that I used to do back in the day.
Yeah, see, I reckon I should adopt that 3-day rule because then I probably wouldn't join as many bloody pyramid schemes as I have.
We're never going to talk about MLMs, multi-level marketing.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, the other thing, well, not the other thing, the additional piece to that, I think, is goal setting in and of itself it can be, and for most people it's motivating. It gives you something to work towards and gives you something to strive for and achieve. But I think that almost sends the wrong message because motivation is fleeting. Motivation is, I watched a cool video on Instagram and now I want to go to the gym, and I've seen David Goggins run a 100-mile race and now I want to go run 5Ks and
That's my life every morning.
But it's motivating. So my argument would be, would you feel the same or would you do the same if you didn't have the video to watch every morning? If that was you woke up and watched a David Goggins video and then boom, whoa, out for a 5K and you fucking PR and it was wicked, and then 3 days later the internet runs out. You haven't got any internet. It doesn't run out, by the way. I know that. I'm not that stupid. But you don't have internet. I just thought I'd clarify that. But you don't have internet for a week. Are you going to be the same person? because I'd argue that a lot of people wouldn't be. So
Yep.
motivation is not the goal. The goal is to create habits that make you disciplined, which come from somebody said it really, someone really smart the other
Don't you dare.
said consistency is one of the keys. But that's why I believe in it so heavily. Like, consistency builds better habits, makes you more disciplined, and they're the traits that are going to get you through any rough patches and ruts and negative mindsets that you get into. If you don't have the tools to get yourself out of it, and I'll tell you what, this is why I love CrossFit so much, because out of everything that I've done, CrossFit, it genuinely instills so many good values in people. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you to work hard. It teaches you persistence. It teaches you people skills at the very least as well. But it teaches you the value of community. It teaches you so many valuable things in life that even definitely outside the walls of the gym, they're the sorts of things that help you get through. I didn't get a promotion at work this month. Get into a negative mindset. I'm going to work hard. I'm going to be persistent with it because that's what CrossFit taught me. You're going to be better off than the people that don't have those values.
I'm going to agree with you, but also not just
debate.
And no, I think you'll agree with me with this one. Not just pigeonhole it to CrossFit. I think CrossFit is really because I think CrossFit stands out a lot from other sports, let's say, or health regimes, because you're constantly having to work on something each time.
Yeah.
However, some sports, because you're specializing, you are always working on it, but you're improving a strength that you've probably fallen into because you happily found the sport that you're good at, and you have some kind of like a pull or bias towards or talent. Yeah.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I would argue that getting in the octagon and facing someone that's going to fly kick you with their shin to your chin is going to teach you some pretty good, valuable lessons in life
100%.
outside the octagon.
Disclaimer,
Rugby as well.
I wasn't saying that CrossFit was the only thing that could do this.
No.
But if you were to look at apples and oranges, if you were to look at, I'm not going to name any 24/7 gyms, but a Globo gym, where you walk in and you sign up for a 24/7 gym compared to CrossFit, like, you don't get those values instilled in you
it's a lot harder
as a byproduct.
It's a lot harder, and I think that comes from having the people around you as well, and having a coach for accountability.
100%.
But I think in general, though, if you had a choice of either there's no CrossFit gym or there's no community-based or group fitness gyms around, going to a gym is going to show discipline in your life, because it sucks, man. Like, if you work full time, you've either got to go at night or you've got to go in the morning. And in the winters, it sucks going at night or going in the morning. So you're learning that commitment and discipline to your goals. And I'm just going to keep talking because I just want to annoy you. I'm sorry, listeners.
I agree 100% with what you said. And I would like to flip the context of like saying that it sucks. Yeah, it does. But if you flip the mindset there, and instead of saying, "Oh man, it's so cold. This is bullshit," you, instead of saying that, just be like, "I'm a fucking badass because I'm getting up when it's 4 degrees in the morning and it's 5 o'clock and everybody else is still asleep." It's the exact same story, but it puts such a positive spin on what you're doing. Mm-hmm. It's the same thing. It's the same thing, but it's two different contexts of the same story. It's bullshit. It is cold. What am I doing out here at 5 o'clock? Ugh, compared to, I'm the fucking man. It's 5 o'clock. Everybody else is still in bed. It's 4 degrees. I don't care. I don't care that I'm cold. I'm a badass. It just kind of like, it sets the tone, and it gives you more of a, well, that's going to build your mindset because it's going to give you a positive spin on everything that you're doing. So
I agree with that.
The switch.
Good little tip there, actually, is flipping that story or changing the way the story is told. Yeah, when people are like, "Oh, it's not even cold," I'm like, "It's cold. Don't you lie to me, all right? It's cold. I can feel it. I have 7 jumpers on right now.
Why are you trying to convince me that it's cold if I don't think that it's cold?"
Yeah. It's like, I know you're not cold. You're wearing a singlet. I'm wearing 6 jumpers. All right, I'm slowly getting warmer, but no. Yeah, I think it's cool. I think also I used to actually. It's funny. Another shower topic. I used to set my goals in the shower because that was where I was most comfortable. I was like all warm and toasty in the shower, and they'd be like, you know what? I'm going to get up at 3:30 tomorrow morning, and I'm going
So
to
motivated in
ride.
the comfort of the shower.
Yeah, no, but I'm like, I'm the most comfortable now. So if I set the goals, they're going to be outrageous. So when I actually have to face them, I'm not going to want to do it, but I've committed, and I'm not going to let myself down.
I like, you know the context of SMART goals.
Yes.
For those of who don't know what SMART goals are, it's an acronym. So specific, measurable, attainable. What's the other one?
Reachable in time,
Was it?
but attainable and reachable are the same.
Yeah.
I actually can't remember.
Specific, measurable,
measurable,
achievable.
relatable.
I can't remember.
Relates to who you are and what you want.
Anyway, where I'm getting at with this story
And
was
time frame. Just so we got the last one.
So you've got a time frame on it. So
Did we just butcher something else?
Yeah, probably massively. And everyone's gonna be like, "How do they not even know what SMART goals are?" But this is why I brought it up.
Google.
Because I don't like SMART goals. I've made a new acronym, and it's SMORT goals.
Are you being serious right now?
Yes, 100%. SMORT goals. Because it's
here we go.
specific, measurable, outrageous, and timely. I love it. I love it. Because what's the point in setting a goal that's 2% better than where you are now? Anyone can achieve that. Aim for 50%. Aim for way higher. No, I told Christy about this the other day. She can verify that.
Did you make it up the other day?
A little while ago. But yeah. When I was goal setting, I was like, no, I want some outrageous goals. And I was like, oh, that's so much better. SMORT goals.
Smart.
But yeah, I like them. I reckon they're better.
I think that's cool. There's who was it? I think it's I can't remember his name. He's
another one with butchering.
Yeah, ultra marathon runner. He's got the beard. I was actually looking at something he was talking about today, and he was talking about how he struggles with relationships and everything from his past and blah blah blah. But he was saying that if you have goals and people don't tell you that you're crazy for having those goals, then those goals aren't big enough or appropriate.
That's why you make them outrageous. Outrageous.
But the reason I also think setting goals is tough, but super beneficial, whether they're in the SMART goals or the SMORT goals context or anything like that. I think the very first thing is that you have to sit down and be with yourself or be with someone you trust, and you have to open up because you're going to be setting goals that you believe that you can actually achieve. And that's quite scary because if you're in a rut, you probably don't believe in yourself at that current time. You believe that you can keep going, possibly, because you've got the discipline, but your motivation, the emotion is not there from the motivation. And so I think that's the importance of goals. It doesn't have to be like, I'm going to do this. I'm going to achieve, the Olympics or 200 back squat or 135 snatch. Daniel. It can literally be that my goal is that I'm going to be consistent every day with reading a book, going to the gym, going for a walk, spending time with my family. Yeah.
100 small wins is going to make you feel way more motivated than 3 big ones.
And they might not be outrageous to someone else in that context, but if that's forcing you to come to terms with you believing in yourself, then that's cool. Like that, that's super cool. And that's super valuable because if you don't believe in yourself, why would you try?
Yeah. Good point. Very valuable
deep,
point.
Bro. But
One thing that I've come across, I can't even remember who said this. I think it was actually King Tate that said this one. Oh my God.
Just so we got this clear. It is not King Tate. It's Small Chin Tate.
Anyway, I believe it was him that said this one. Was another one that I'm going to butcher, but it was putting emphasis on the value of the words you speak. So if I say I'm going to get up and go to the gym at 6 o'clock in the morning, that's a signed contract, a signed verbal contract. I'm getting up at 6 o'clock tomorrow morning because I said I was going to. So having that, again, it comes back to discipline. So not just saying things for the sake of saying them, like actually putting a little bit of emphasis on what you're saying and then following through with it. It's just helping, like it's just another little tactic to help build that confidence and build that, I don't want to say motivation, but yeah, to kind of get you back on the right path.
Yeah, I know people are like, oh, motivation is fleeting, motivation isn't permanent, and it's not. That's right. But it's really, really, really fun when it is there. It's really easy when it is there. So enjoy it, take advantage of it. And I'm pretty sure that it was Kobe Bryant that said that, because he used to say, I made a contract with myself at the start of this season, and I'm not going to let myself down. He does it
It's
actually.
a cool concept. I like it.
He is the king. Don't you dare argue that. You can't even argue that. There is zero argument on the other side of that.
I didn't say nothing. Oh, well, lips are sealed. I don't want to be too controversial already.
I don't know how you could even argue that. The dude.
I didn't say anything.
Change the game.
Hopefully that helps our listener out with getting themselves out of a rut or a negative mind space. Because that's, it is. Don't forget, everyone goes through it. There's no... I've been there. I remember a few years ago there was like nearly a 6-month period where the last thing I wanted to do was train, but I knew that I'd worked my ass off for the last 3 years. There's no way I'm letting myself slip for any reason. Like at the very least, I'm not gonna fall back. So I'm gonna keep the bare minimum. Keep my numbers where they are. Stay as fit as I am. Stay as strong as I am. If I don't improve, cool. But as long as I'm not getting any worse.
That's fair.
As I'm not, backtracking.
To be specific to the listener, hopefully you're actually listening to this, or if anyone's going through it, not to get like too sentimental or anything, but if you are in a rut, you probably are struggling to believe in yourself. And so you need to figure out a way that you can believe in yourself, whether it is through consistency. And if that's all not going to work, or you need something more, and you don't love this is deep, you don't love yourself enough to show belief in yourself, then you need to find the people that do love you around you, because there is, and they will tell you that they believe in you. And if they don't believe in you, prove them wrong.
Yeah.
Go David Goggins on them.
I like we're ranting on here, but I like the fake it till you make it as well.
Yeah.
So just tell yourself, no, I'm in the best headspace right now, and maybe not that far, but I'm going to crush today. It doesn't matter what it is. I'm going to go and I'm going to do the best that I can at work. I'm going to do the best that I can when I go train this afternoon. I'm going to put 110% in this. I'm going to fucking kill today. Today is my bitch. And
winning is contagious.
It is. It is.
And small wins will snowball.
Yep, 100%. Little wins. All right. I think we did a good job there.
Maybe. I'd love to talk about it more, man. I love this stuff.
Well, that's the thing is, there's so many different aspects to mindset and so many different things that you can implement. So this is just one area of mindset. So we won't dive too much deeper into this, I don't think.
No. Just so everyone knows as well, I'm out of the rut. I've got my goals. I've got my plans, self-belief, all that kind of stuff. So I'm excited. So please don't message me like, I hope you're okay. I'm fine.
He's not okay.
Well, in that aspect, I am, but there's way other things that I'm not okay. But that's fine.
Help.
That's fine. Hannah still loves me.
That's all that matters.
I'm grateful. Yeah.
All right. Same as always. If you've got any questions, leave them below, like our other listener did, and we will see you in the next episode. Thanks for listening.
We really appreciate it, guys. Thank you.